Hello. As you can see, I did a lot of stuff over the past week, and I didn't record on Wednesday as I was previously planning to do. So today it is Friday, June 5th, and this is everything that I've made over the past week. So that means like 10 days because last time I did a video was Wednesday, and so now it's Friday. But I'm going to try to keep it, I'm going to do them all in one video, but I'm going to try to keep it pretty fast because some of these you will have seen before. For example, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven of these are ones that from the big cereal box journal that I took apart and now made each one of them individually journals. So, and basically each one already had its own theme as far as whether I use the inside of business envelopes or whether I used the craft paper or whether I used napkins to cover it. So those you've all seen before. I put a pin holder with each one, put a closure with each one, and decided to treat these like pamphlet journals. So they each have a writing board and 30 pages, 30 sheets that you can write on, basically. Or a 60 sheets, I guess, that you can write on because it's 30 pages folded. And I use the Hanshi paper for these. So all of them they'll all have different colors in is for the cardstock that gives a little bit more structural stability because the Hanshi paper is very, very soft and very light. So the only thing different about each of them will be the colors, which washi tapes are on the inside, which closures are on them, and which pin holder I put for each one. So I'll just do a brief show of each of that. But they all have the same number of pages, the same type of paper. The color patterns are the only thing that's going to be different. So that's that one. And then this one, I used a ribbon instead of the other tie, and this is the pin holder that I chose for it. And for most of these, I use the Daiso elastics to hold the paper in, so they're wraparound binding where you can take the paper out if you want to. And the paper is not individually bound. I didn't do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch on any of these, so you can swap it out with other paper or whatnot. And then these are the washi tapes that are on the inside. And most of these have green themed pin holders because the thread that I used to bind these before I decided not to stress my sewing machine out with tape and glue and stuff like that. These I sewed before I made that discovery. Another one, this one's got the same kind of ribbon binding, and it's tied to the Daiso elastic. And they all have writing boards in them, too. Looks like this writing board is actually damaging the papers. Okay. Well, I will be swapping out that particular sheet of paper for this one. Now, like I said, this paper is thin and light. So here's the inside design of the washi tape and the colors of this. And I have tons more Hanshi paper, so I will fix that one and put that to the side. And I'm not getting any more Hanshi paper. I mean, that is why I am not getting any more Hanshi paper. I originally got it to practice calligraphy, but it turns out to be too soft for I like the wide ink, the wide stubs or the wide nibs, broad nibs or stub nibs on my fountain pens, and they put too much ink out to be successful for writing on Hanshi paper. So that's this one. And I tried to, you've seen this closure before because I was concerned that the little bumps in it make it hard to tie and not tie, but it works a little bit better on this one as long as I'm just careful when I untie it. And so there are pretty much 3 of each type of binding or type of cover. So 3 of the business envelope insides, 3 of the napkins, 3 of the craft folders. So you've seen the others. So now there's just these 4 left. So again, green thread, pin closure. This just got echoes of the green, and plants washi tape on the inside of this one. And this was also in colors yellow and brown and just different colors of cardstock to give the paper a little bit more structure and stability, so it doesn't tear like the one that I just tore a second ago. So that is the inside of this one, and all of them have they're the last of my Daiso elastics. I was thinking about getting more elastics just because it makes it easier to do the travel journals, but I decided not to do that. I'm going to, again, in keeping with minimizing purchasing new stuff, I'm going to reuse the ribbons and threads and whatnot that I've collected over the years and use those for wraparound binding or closures or things like that. So you'll see that in a couple of these, because like I said, these travel journals that I'll show you in a second, those I made after I had already used up all my elastics on these. And this one also, I used up my elastics. Now, I mentioned a while back that I had gotten braid ties or braid clasps to see if I could use those to make the threads a little bit more manageable and whatnot. And it came out okay. I don't know if I'm entirely thrilled with it, but it came out okay. And as you can tell, I'm starting to run out of the different colors of pin holders. So this one's got the blues and yellows in terms of the construction paper, and those are the designs. On the washi tape, I might need to put some more adhesive on that one if it's going to keep stripping up. So because they're held down with double stick tape, but I used narrow strips of double stick tape because I didn't want the tape to stick out past the washi tape, and I may have used too narrow a one on that one. So I'll go back and fix that. And these, I secured all of them, but I secured some of them different ways. Like on this one, because the braid is fat and this is also thick, I used an extra piece of thread to just wrap around and secure it that way. And where I'm using these crocheted pieces versus the braided pieces, and when the closure that I'm using is really, really thick, that's usually what I'm trying to do just to make it, work. But I'm not attaching, and you'll see some of the others, the closure is not attached. Before, when I showed this, I was saying that the cardboard was too thick to put the pin holder on, but I found that really you can bend the inside of the paper clip and it comes out fine and it stays on pretty good. It stays on really, really good. Like it's not going to knock off of there by accident either. So this one's blues and yellows as well. And here's all the washi tapes, all the thin strip washi tapes that I used up on this one. And I think I've got just a few more rolls of the thin washi tape left, but I haven't done any more of these kinds of covers, so I have not had an opportunity to use them up. And this, I think I got off of, this is definitely recycling. I think I got this off of some furniture that I bought, and these were used to secure the furniture in the box, if I recall correctly. But I've been collecting bits and bobs for ages. And I really like these. This one came out, the theme came out pretty interesting when I used the thin strip washi tape on this one. So the pattern came out nice. I think this is one of the first ones I did because I'm pretty sure I used up all of this tape on this cover. And remember, these are not covers that I just made. These are covers that I made as part of the Cereal Box Stash Blast journal that Treasure Books did about a month ago, I think, a while back. Okay, so that is all of the Cereal Box journals that I took apart, and all those are wraparound binding. These are 3 travel journals that I made without elastics, so all of these have either crocheted or braided. And I did a bit of a test, and I feel like this is also the reason why I crocheted instead of just using the yarn all by itself. And these I did not attach. I feel like, and I might need to put another layer of something to keep that from sticking, but it's not too bad. I mean, if it doesn't pull up paper and it's not sticking to the paper, it's not too much of a problem. But when I crochet or braid the yarn, it gives it more stretch. So it gives it more elasticity. So that's why I'm braiding it or crocheting it, just to give it more elasticity. And crocheting actually gives it more elasticity than braiding because you've got, you can see that you've got more loops in there. Whereas the braid, I don't think I have any braids on this because I did a test and the braid was less flexible. So sometimes I would use braids for the closures, but since I was in a crocheting mode, I just crocheted all of them. And this cover is one of, I did a whole bunch, I think I mentioned in my last video that I treated a whole bunch of file folders for to use as covers to look like leather or whatnot. So this is two of those file folders, two red ones that are make the inside of this, and I actually tore the second one up and then put it on just to give it a little bit more texture. And this is something that a collage that I made actually probably a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And there you'll see more of those as time goes by because I pulled all of them out because I'm going to turn all of them into book covers because they're doing nothing sitting in my portfolio. So you'll see more of these. And I'm still trying to figure out because those covers are not very thick. So I really need two file folders to make them sturdy enough. And inside of a travel journal is going to be the same. You're going to have different colors of cardstock, different colors of pocket material, and then 60 sheets because it's 30 folded lengthwise. And then the same thing on the other one, cardstock, and then the writing board is on the back one on this one. Hold on, move that to the one that's going to be on top. And then 60 sheets, 60 sheets, 6 pockets, 6 pockets. So 120 sheets total for the whole journal, and 12 pockets for the whole journal. So that is that one. And the way I wrapped the yarn through is it literally is going through twice, and then it's tied on the inside. I'll show you in one of these other ones. And then it's tied on the inside so that you can adjust the tension on the thread when you're changing out the paper. Okay, now this is another one that I did the inside with one of my collage papers. And this was actually not a full collage. It is a collage, but it's really not like a normal collage. This is when I was actually trying to use the Hanshi paper to practice my calligraphy. And the inks, I've discovered that the inks react differently. Different types of inks react differently into the Hanshi paper. And I really like the effect. So I actually made a collage of my different practice papers that were Hanshi paper and tried to make them, in different families of colors and whatnot. So I like it, but I didn't like it enough to have it be the outside. So I decided for this to be the inside of the cover, and the actual fantastic effect on this one when I treated it came out very, very nice. And finally the colors on the different file folders bled exactly the way I wanted them to. And I think I figured out why it wasn't getting that effect consistently in the past. But with this particular set, I have used up all my different color folders. I think I only have a stack of blue folders left, but I have a lot of these now, so it'll be a while before I need to treat any more. But the reason I was describing that is because I put this on the inside cover of the file folder with thinking that this was going to be the outside, and forgetting that that is not going to be a very thick layer of cover. So this one is a very soft cover, but I did treat it with Mod Podge, the either antique Mod Podge or hard coat Mod Podge. I'm not sure which I used, but the satin and the hard coat Mod Podge are not glossy. So sometimes they're okay and they're not very sticky, but sometimes they are. So I've used up all the outdoor Mod Podge as paste. And so I should not have any more trouble with sticking like you saw in this one, how the cover kind of stuck together a little bit because it had been sitting for a while. This is a layer. This was the one I used to try to figure out which would not be glossy and sticky. So it's got several layers of Mod Podge of different forms and types on it. But I did use up all the outdoor, which was very glossy, and I used up all the regular, which is also very glossy. And I decided to just give this one a shot. I think it is just going to be a very soft cover, but I think it will be sturdy enough because it's got multiple layers of Mod Podge holding the cover together and connecting this. And this, like I said, has been a single piece for a while. So I also contemplated cutting off the edges around it, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to make it too small. So this is what you got with this one. And again, I really, really love the way this cover came out. It's basically a dark blue file folder with a red file folder on top of it while it was drying. And that's how you have the highlights and the crinkles, because after I crinkled them up and unfolded them, then I laid them out so that they would have an opportunity to exchange colors. And this one came out fantastically. I really love how this cover came out. And I have a few more that came out this color, but I don't know if I got the same texture, because some of them I let soak too long. And when I tried to crunch them up to give them the texture, it backfired and they all tore. So some of them have a great color and great texture, but I can't really use them as covers unless I collage them and piece them together. So this is one that I used one of the manila folders for the cover on this one. And then I had some other paintings that I did on wax paper. Because I use wax paper sometimes as my surface so that I don't get paint and colors and mica all over my surface. So I would put, and you can kind of see it in this pattern. Yeah, this one I might have to paint over again because it's starting to, and this is light enough to where if it did stick, it might be a problem. So I'm probably have to put another coat of this one on. And actually, let me put that one out so I can remember to give it another coat of non-glossy stick to surface. So this is just a manila folder, and I think it's also like the single file folder. I think it's a little bit lighter than I like, so I put the artwork over it just to give it a little bit more texture and substance. But the wax paper, of course, is very thin also. So what I discovered was as I was painting different things and adding color to things, when I used the wax paper, the edges where the paint would run over as it was protecting my surface made a really cool pattern. So I decided to try to do it deliberately and see what kind of effects I could get. So you can see where I was painting something orange and yellow, and then you can see where I went back in deliberately with the black and the brown paint and just used the edges of a postcard or a little bit of cardstock that was left over from something else to create that effect. And I really like it. But again, wax paper is very thin. So in order to get more texture, because these wax paper pieces were not as wide as the file folders that I'm using, I just put stickers on this one, some washi tape around the edges to just give it a little bit more texture, visual texture, I guess in this case. And here's another example of how I wrapped the threads through twice and then just tied a knot here. So it's a very simple double knot. So you can untie it to adjust the texture if you want to put larger sheets or smaller sheets, and then pull it and then tie it back. So it's really easy to deal with, almost as easy as the elastics, but not quite. So that is that art piece. And on the outside cover, I had a larger piece of wax paper that I decorated. And again, you can see the different lines from where I was using it as a background, to cover when I was painting something. And then you can see I went back in with the broad strokes just to add texture to it and make it an actual art piece that could be used as a cover. So lots of different colors that were in this. I wasn't really paying attention to it, and I noticed the effect afterwards, after I'd used both of these, because I usually have several pieces of paper out at any given time that I'm using as a background to, well, actually I was going to show you one, but it's... So I stopped using wax paper so I wouldn't be tempted to turn it into art afterwards. So that is this one. And again, 120 sheets, 12 pockets, and different colors of cardstock. And I used the pinking shears to cut the edges of the pocket paper for this one. And I think I'm not going to, I've a few more pages, or a few more sheets of the heavy paper that I used the mica paint on that was bleeding, where the black paint was bleeding onto my fingers, as I mentioned in my last video. I think that one too. I think I made this one too long, actually. But I'd rather it be too long than too short, because you can always cut off, but you cannot add once you cut it off. So there is that one. So 3 travel journals and a bunch of the other things, the reduced cereal box journals. This one I made from, and I'll go through, of course, this is 4 strands of crocheted yarn, and it's not attached. I haven't figured out how to attach it to this. The cover is a FedEx envelope. I don't even remember what I got inside it, but I got a FedEx envelope, cut off the address, painted both sides white, and then decided to collage some leftover pieces I had from different things over the years that I've had for a long time. So I think I was making the stars, or the cutouts of the stars. I was making Christmas ornaments for a friend of mine. She was going to use them for small gifts or whatnot. So I was like, well, I think I can make Christmas ornaments. So she's like, yeah, give it a try. So these are the offcuts from that, and then just painted over it with the gold mica paint that I still have a bunch of. And then you see the black paper that was also offcuts of something else that I'd made before. That's why you see the little lines in it, because it's different pieces that were pieced together to give a black background to these two, and then the actual stars that were cut out for these two. And finally finding a good place to put in that sun theme tape that I am having trouble using up. And on this side, another thin strip of heart tape, and then just different hearts that I don't remember what I cut them out for, but I cut out way more than I needed. I was just, in a flow, just trying to pump them out using the Sizzix templates for these. And I just don't even remember what I was doing with them when I initially cut them out, but I had a whole bunch left over. I still have a bunch left over. And this was just offcuts from some mulberry paper with a green color and whatnot. So I just pasted the squares on over here, and they overlapped a little bit. I didn't have as many of those, but just decided to use up some of the hearts, used up some of the stars. I have much of these and these left over, but I did use up all the green. And then for anybody that is a fan of Bath and Body Works, they have the gingham pattern on their boxes. So I just cut out strips of that and sealed the edges with washi tape and use that as the spine to strengthen the spine, because I actually did do 3-hole pamphlet stitch on the 3 signatures that are in this one. So you can see here, I put the one on the inside, then stitched through it, then put the one on the outside to hide the stitching, because I did not try to measure it or make it even or whatnot. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do with this, because sometimes when you try to do 3-hole pamphlet stitch for multiple signatures, it comes out really wonky. But this one came out pretty nice, actually. I debated whether I would put another sticker on here to just emphasize the green theme. I have stickers, like the big Taperology stickers with ferns and just very, very large and long stickers. But I decided to just leave it as is. Because I like it. It looks nice. And you already have the pattern with the mulberry paper in there. And this, again, is another attempt to use up a bunch of offcuts that I had of napkins and mulberry paper and just, bits and bobs that I've had as offcuts over projects over different times. And I used some of the thin washi tape on the sides of this just to do the edge. Now, the double stick tape was not, because of the way this edge here, it didn't do what I was wanting it to do. So I went ahead and put an extra layer of double stick tape and clear heavy duty tape to seal all that down, because I kind of got the feeling that the washi tape that I put on the edges, even though I sealed it with double stick tape, it did not want to stay stuck. Probably because there's a bit of a gap between the spine that I put on here and the actual cover on the side. So, everything that I do, I'm trying to put a writing board in here. Oh, I haven't talked about the pages. So 3 signatures in this one. Again, I'm using a mixture of Hanshi paper and Daiso construction paper, and I think this is Xerox copy paper. It's extra long, like 8.5 by 14, I think is what it was, this yellow paper. And I got this from my dad when I was cleaning out his office and stuff that I don't know why he had, and things that he would never use, basically. So putting this to use. So the 2 side signatures each have 10 sheets of the yellow paper, folded, so 20 sheets of that, and then 30 sheets of the Hanshi paper folded, so 60 sheets of that. So 20 plus... math in public should not be this difficult. 20 plus 60 is 80. So 80 sheets on this side, and then 80 sheets, 80 sheets on this side. And this one has just 10 sheets of, 10 or 14, and maybe 12 actually. 12 sheets of construction paper with 3 sheets of Hanshi paper in between all of them. So 30 plus 60 plus 24, which is 84. So this one has a lot of sheets in it. And of course, it's all Hanshi paper, so you're going to need the yellow paper, you can kind of see the lines through, but it's 20 pounds, so it doesn't show through, or 24 pound, I think, so it doesn't show through as well. But the Hanshi paper, you can see it through 3 sheets of it, so no problem with this. But the writing board is going to be very, very handy with this one. And it just came out nice. I used a different theme on the spine, on the cover, on the back, and I just really like how it looks. So I may be doing more of these types of journals in the future, and just using up all my cord, my wax cord for 3-hole pamphlet stitch, rather than a wraparound. We'll see. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of file folders that I just recently treated. So as I start bringing those out, those might turn into travel journals, or they might turn into something else, because I've used them for book covers for Coptic stitch bound journals in the past. So that is what I have made for the past 10 days. Today is June 5th, 2026. As a reminder, I will be hosting a booth for selling some of the things that you're seeing in these videos on October the 16th, 17th, and 18th, I believe, are the dates of the fair. And it's going to be the Hill Country Retreat Annual Craft Fair in the Del Webb community here in San Antonio in the Alamo Ranch area. So be on the lookout for that. If you're in the area or local to San Antonio, you will be able to purchase the things that you're seeing in these videos at that time. And I'm not planning, unless something else happens between then, I'm not planning any craft fairs before that, because I just want to build up stock to see what kind of reception these things that I'm making get. So I hope you enjoyed, and have a fabulous rest of your day.